I think one of the key things to take away is that there isn't necessarily there isn't a quick fix for any of the things that we're trying to achieve, whether it's your weight or your health or your fitness or your strength or whatever it is. Everything we do is about habits and about understanding motivation and how it goes through troughs and peaks, and sometimes you'll plateau and sometimes you'll lose motivation, and just finding ways to get back into those habits is what builds consistency. And I think that's really important, and giving yourself space to be a bit inconsistent at times and to work through those troughs and accept the fact that I'm not as fit as I want to be right now. I want to get back to this point, and then forming a plan to take steps. So I think understanding a bit more of the psychological side and setting yourself realistic goals, and being kind to yourself and allowing yourself to, lose a little motivation and then get back on track.
Tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name's Steph. I am a high school music teacher and band and choir conductor. So I work in a state school up on the North Shore, running a music program and teaching classroom music.
Tell us your biggest problems before we started working together, Steph.
Biggest problems was motivation. Definitely motivation, and probably commitment to long-term goals. So I would get in that loop cycle of trying this and trying that and doing a bit of this and seeing improvements, and then stagnating or going, oh, I'm great now, and then not actually committing to goals long term. So when I first came to Own It Fit in 2018, I was extremely unfit and just didn't have any motivation at all. So I think the positivity in all the sessions really helped with that.
What would be the top 3 tips that you'd give to someone like yourself who really can't find the drive to make it happen?
I think the top tips I would have would be to sort of book your sessions in at the start of the week and try to get to 3 sessions throughout the week. And if you can kind of do them maybe every 2 days, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something, that can give you enough time to recover, but still feel that momentum. So trying to book in for 3, I think, at the start of the week helps set up your week. I think also knowing where you're at. So when I started the most recent challenge in lockdown, I was pretty unfit, and was fully aware of that and worked to where I could. So only did what I could. And I was back to push-ups on my knees, actually elevated and then on my knees. But since the beginning of lockdown, I've progressed to, I can do a couple on my toes and then the rest on my knees. So just accepting where you are physically and your fitness level and working within that, and then being able to push yourself a little as well. And third thing is trusting in the trainers. They're really dedicated and they really pay attention to you in a session, even though it's a group session, and even online, they are checking your form. They're making sure they can see you in your camera and taking care of you. So they will push you as far as you can go as well. So trusting in their expertise.
Tell me about your habits before you started and now where they're at currently.
Before I started, I was pretty inconsistent with exercise. I would do bits here or there, but didn't ever really have sort of a weekly routine. And I have definitely adopted that since starting, and it really helps to know that which days I will always work out, because those classes are always there. And I think that really helps. And on the days that I do that and I make the commitment to getting up, getting to exercise, I tend to eat cleaner on those days and eat in more consistent meal times. I usually eat a bit more on those days, but it tends to be, as I said, cleaner, healthier foods.
Tell me a little bit about how your motivation was previously and where it's at right now?
I have struggled with weight for a while, and when I came to Own It Fit, I was very overweight for my size and pretty unhealthy at the time. My eating habits were, I was eating a lot of processed food and not as much clean food, and not a huge amount of protein in each meal. And then once I came to Own It Fit and I started with one of the, I think it was a 6 or 8 week challenge, it really just, I don't know that it taught me anything revolutionary, but it helped me put into perspective my current habits for that time and the small changes I could make to see healthier improvements. And I think the nice thing was that it didn't focus on weight loss. That was not actually the goal. The goal was health and fitness, and I found that really encouraging. I still did the weigh-ins, but that wasn't actually the main goal. I lost 8 kilos, but I was able to, by the end of the first 8 weeks, I was able to complete my first ocean swim of 2 kilometers because my general fitness was so much better than when I started, just from the frequent sessions 3 to 4 times a week, and then the cleaner eating.
Fabulous, good stuff. Let's discuss your consistency and how that used to impact you getting to where you want to get to, and your consistency currently as well.
Yeah, last year in particular, I was quite inconsistent for a number of reasons. I had some mental health issues pop up. I had a pretty extensive surgery last year, and that led to really inconsistent attendance at a lot of the sessions, which just makes it hard to actually achieve much when you don't have that consistency. And it kind of took lockdown and a new challenge to sort of snap me out of it, as well as taking care of my own mental health and getting to a point where I was ready to commit again. But I have almost every week of lockdown made it to at least 3 sessions. And so just forming that habit has made it easy to maintain, building those routines. And even if you have some inconsistent weeks, like I did, say last week, where I couldn't necessarily make it to all of the morning sessions I normally do, because you're uploading them online while we're in lockdown, I was able to access those sessions later on in the day. So that really helps you to build the consistency.
You've been with us obviously 3 years now. So what have you been most surprised about from working with us?
Most surprised, I think, just how positive the whole experience is. The classes are really as enjoyable as exercising can be, but I think the people you work out with, you get to see multiple times each week, and you build relationships with. I think the trainers work really hard to create interesting and motivating workouts for us, and while it is a group class, you still get a lot of individual attention, and they do correct form, and they do make sure that you're doing everything you can to maximize your goals and what you want to get out of sessions. And I found that especially when I was coming back from surgery last year, the attention that was given to me during sessions to make sure that I was protecting what I needed to protect, working the right muscles, and not trying to take steps too soon before I was ready was really incredible. And I'm extremely grateful for that, because it was to do with my neck, and there were a lot of issues that could have come up there, but I knew that I could trust in the trainers and that they would take care of me in those sessions.
What sort of results have you achieved since you started?
I have, when I first started, in the first 8 weeks, I lost 8 kilos. In a subsequent challenge I did maybe 6-8 months later, I lost 10% body fat. And then I really have been fitter than I've ever been. That took a bit of a hit last year, as I said, when I went through surgery, but it's making its way back. And I think, yeah, it's really nice to see that I'm on my way back to getting back to that level of fitness, because that level of fitness makes everything in life easier. Just going to the supermarket and doing up your shoelaces and, you know, going up and down the stairs at work, all those things.
Fabulous. And final question for you, Steph. What would you say to someone that's considering making the change?
I would say do it. You won't regret it. And you won't see results in your first week. You will be sore in your first week, but you will see results if you keep coming back, and you will make improvements and achieve what you want.